Over the past few decades, our global community has come closer than ever to ending extreme poverty. But climate change threatens to set back the hard-won progress. What is widely acknowledged as a deepening global crisis has been steadily making hunger worse and threatening to displace millions of people from their homes. Recent reports estimate that 130 million more people could be pushed into poverty by 2030. Climate change is a challenging and complex problem, but how we choose to respond should come down to one simple question.
For me, addressing climate change is, how are we going to protect the most vulnerable? We have the moral responsibility to do everything to put us on track to a maximum temperature of 1.5.
Climate change will affect us all, but how and how much we experience those impacts depends on where and when we happen to be born. It is one of the greatest injustices of our time. People living in our world's poorest communities have contributed least to the problem, but are already facing its worst impacts. They are also the least resourced to adapt. At Tearfund, we see those impacts on the communities that we work with around the world. In rural northern India, the rains are less predictable and crops are failing. In Cambodia, rice yields are lower and farm animals are dying. Families are separated and children are left poorly supervised at home when parents have to move away to cities to find other work. In central Nepal, Pokhara village is a hilltop settlement that has had a gradual decrease in water availability over the past 30 years as a result of frequent droughts and changing rainfall patterns. In Australia, we've seen the devastation of the Black Summer bushfires and extreme flooding. The Torres Strait is facing coastal erosion and seawater inundation. God's vision for a flourishing creation encompasses all people and the whole of creation. Yet climate change is robbing the world's most vulnerable of their peace and hope for the future. Now is the time for a new conversation about climate change and what this means for the church.
Tearfund has been speaking out about climate change for many years, and in 2021 we undertook the most comprehensive research to date into the views of Christians in Australia towards this unprecedented challenge. It is our prayer that the insights it offers will play a part in healing the divides that have emerged around this issue, so that together, as the church, we can be a voice of hope in our communities and around the world. It's time for a new conversation. Will you join us?